Welcome, Leo, to your Uranus Cazimi 1 year forecast for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. For the first time in 78 years this month, the sun in Gemini combines with Uranus in an exact perfect conjunction. They're unified. And for us, it appears that Uranus is in the heart of the sun, the Cazimi, and the raw brilliance and power and radiance of the sun amplifies the core qualities of Uranus. It's a very powerful event for us all collectively, but what does it mean for you personally, Leo? I'm going to share your event chart on screen, but also share about all the other planetary influences at the exact moment the Kazimi is forged. They're going to help to provide a backdrop for the next year, and by the end of the forecast, you'll have a clearer understanding of what's in store for you in terms of energy, work, relationships, and finances. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundell. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. So on the screen is your event chart. And at 1 degrees and 30, they're very early in the sign of Gemini. But let's just think briefly about Gemini. It's the third zodiac sign. It's an air sign. It's mutable, so it's very flexible. Can be about quick communication, about nimble ideas. It can also be about the message, because the ruler Mercury, which happens to be in residency, is very much to do with that, the intermediary between the gods above and us mortals on Earth. But it's intriguing that Mercury's in residence. But what about the role of Uranus? Well, Uranus is the liberator. It's pushing us to be in touch with our higher purpose. It is the planet of higher truths, but it can, of course, be about a need for personal freedom. It can be very restless. It's a lightning, electric energy, and it can be a disruptor. But for you, the 11th house can be very positive. It's about your future hopes. It is about your higher purpose. It can be about your friendships and network. And therefore, for you, I feel this has a lot of potential. But if we look at the position of Mercury, the ruler of the sign of Gemini, to Saturn in the part of your chart that's to do with knowledge and wisdom and travel, Saturn's providing a really stable link to Mercury. So if you are wanting to do something different and fresh, very Sun Uranus, but you're wanting to also make it work and stick, Saturn gives you a great chance. It can help you to structure things in a step-by-step and very solid way. It may even see you gain information from someone who's very experienced. So if you are thinking about doing something different and very dynamic, the experience and wisdom of someone who can give you a lot of knowledge and information could be very helpful indeed. But also Neptune, the planet of dreams and idealism, which is in the hot, arid Aries now. And for you, again, about expanding your world, is in a fantastic link with the Sun and Uranus. If you are interested in travel, the chances are over the next few years, you're going to be drawn to more exotic places than you have in the past. But if you're wanting to do something more individualistic or perhaps more novel, you could travel informally with a group of people, because Uranus in that 11th house may be where, yeah, you broadly help and support one another, but you're on your own too. So those kind of dynamics could play out over the next 12 months as well. But what is the planet which is most northerly in this event chart? Well, it is Mars. And Mars in Taurus is steady, it's very determined, but it's very focused on the material. Uranus, remember, is much more to do with idealism. So that's intriguing in terms of a contrast. But Mars in that 10th house can give you more assurance. And if you are wanting to really climb the ladder of success at work, Mars in that location will definitely help you. But it will help you if you're wanting to improve the financial part of your situation, or you're thinking about a property change, and it is in a delicious link with Venus. So Mars and Venus are the planets of love and attraction, but they're also, in terms of Venus being the planet of money, and Mars, the planet of really making things happen, and in the sign of Taurus, tangible things. So that's an intriguing counterpoint to this more friendly, informal, flexible energy in the sign of Gemini. But you do have both the planets of fortune in the reflective 12th house, and Jupiter's been there for about 11 months at this stage, and that's kind of saying to you the things that you've been gaining as far as your philosophical outlook or faith, how that's changed, or how you've embraced healing. Those can be a thing. Those can be something that will call out to you over the next year as well. However, Mars, in that very dominant part of your chart, is in an extremely stressed angle to Pluto. Now, Pluto links back to the Sun and Uranus very productively, suggesting where you have alliances that your ideas align, perhaps your values, but there is that degree of personal freedom which really works for you. Those relationships get stronger. If you're in a relationship where there is a real difference of approach, there could be a mighty power battle, and it may play out at work. So if you do find yourself in a situation where a line manager or the organization you work for are very unyielding and want it done their way and only their way, you could surprise yourself by how much more rebellious you can be. Because Leos do have a preference for continuity. You are a fixed sign. Don't necessarily like things to change at pace. You do have the moon in your sign, which can make you more sensitive over the next year. But I think that that is a particularly challenging right angle. So there is the potential for politics, whether in that professional relationship or perhaps in a romantic one, if the future direction doesn't work for you, because that's what this 11th house energy is about. And it's not just about your plan for the future, it's being in touch with what inspires you. And if you're doing at the moment doesn't inspire you, that could see a rethink. And around your love life, because Venus and Jupiter are in the 12th house, that can be the sector of endings, at the very least, very deep thinking about what one wants. But we do also have the nodes in the picture. The nodes for you over the last, well, since January 2025, the North Node has been in Pisces, very much to do with the instincts, but around long-term finance and intimacy. The South Node maybe being a bit more careful because of the Virgo energy, being a bit more conservative in your approach. But these guys here in a T square are kind of saying to you that if you have got a way of earning money at the moment, that obviously is very important, but it's stealing your soul. They're asking you to be much more radical in your approach. But ironically, Venus forges a delicious link with the North Node. And that means if you're doing something at the moment which does work for you and you don't feel a big need to change, I think that your longer term shared finances for sure could actually be very heightened. But that potential for separation, if you're not enjoying a relationship, is echoed by Venus's quincunx with Pluto. Now, I'm going to summarize those four areas of energy, work, relationships, and finances shortly. But just to say, you can download your free Uranus factoid, all about the astronomy, the mythology, and the astrology, including Uranus in each of the 12 zodiac signs and each of the 12 houses. Please see below for more. I've slashed the price of my personal horoscope reports. It's now 3 for the price of 1. The one you pay for is your life roadmap report, which helps us to understand the patterns that are played out in our lives so far, but get a more intimate understanding of them and how we can work better with those energies future forwards. The free charts is your 12-month transit forecast, totally unique to each person, but also your iconic soul analysis. So that's 3 for the price of 1. Please see below for more. I've been doing this full-time for 30 years, but I first became interested in astrology when I was 14. I really want to share about natal astrology to as many people as possible. So, if you've yet to watch my deep dive of moon magic for May, which goes into each of the 5 lunations of the month, please see that on the screen. If you've yet to watch your monthly general forecast for May, that's on the screen as well. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, it would be an absolute pleasure. Please check out my testimonials below. And also, have you taken advantage of my free daily horoscope? Fire to your device each morning, get your early day celestial pit stop for your ascendant, your sun, your moon, whoever you want to read it for. Please see below for more. Now that summary. So when it comes to your professional situation, I think you're going to be very ambitious over the next year. But I think you're also going to be up for trying something different and fresh. If you are doing something at the moment which has gone stale, I think it may be a time to really have a big rethink. If you can do things that are more artistic and creative and challenge you and can open you up in some kind of way, or you can be with groups of people if you are a friendly Leo, even if you're someone who likes to keep your own company, a degree of collaboration can be very good for you professionally over the next year. But I think if you work in an environment where you do clash with one person in particular in a very big way, you may need to have a rethink. In terms of your financial situation, the North Node being in that 8th house is kind of saying to you, do trust the process, the instinctive process. And because Venus, the planet of money, also links brilliantly well to Mars, if you do something behind the scenes or is very helpful to other people, that can be rewarded too. What about your physical energy? Well, Saturn's in that 9th house. And the 9th house really is about expansion, and Saturn's more about limitation. So if you feel trapped in a situation, that can drain your vitality. Chiron, the so-called wounded healer, is in your 9th house. The more knowledge you can gain, psychological, emotional, spiritual, even factual knowledge about physical well-being, vitamins, minerals, whatever, the more knowledge you gain, the more you can fortify your well-being. When it comes to your relationship situation, if you are seeing someone at the moment where there are quite big power battles at times, that Mars-Pluto could be quite challenging. However, if you're aligned to someone that you really do enjoy being with, maybe that link between Venus and Mars can see the relationship take that next step. Even if you do it quietly between you, towards perhaps formalizing it in some ways, moving in, setting the date, and so on. But in an ongoing relationship, that clash between Mars and Pluto and Venus and Pluto suggests any issues that's been scuttling around in the dark may need to come into the open. When it comes to finance alone, the 11th house can be quite lucky, but Uranus conjunct the sun is really asking you to be much more like the magician in the tarot. In other words, think of things like alchemy. How can you turn talents, wisdom, experience, and knowledge, or an interest you've got, into something better to align with something you do formally at the moment, which could grow into something much more inspirational? Because I think that's what you're really going to be yearning for as the year goes on. A much more inspirational, alive, buzzy life force. Thank you so much for joining me, Leo. Wishing you all the best. It's been a pleasure being with you and look forward to seeing you again soon.